Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Margaret Lin. Thank you for joining us. Medical team from Tzu Chi Canada Chapter once again heads to Nanaimo, Canada to offer free TCM services for residents in need. Tzu Chi mobilized over 100 volunteers to help typhoon victims in Hong Kong's Lake Yuen clean up the environment. The newest minimally invasive endoscopy treatment gives varix sufferers small incisions and shorter recovery periods. In Canada, many of the country's First Nations people live in remote areas or mountain regions and often lack easy access to medical care. Since May of this year, Tzu Chi Canada Chapter has often set up a free clinic in Nanaimo, providing TCM service periodically. Recently, the group visited once more to cure the ailments of the residents in need.
To assist First Nations' lack of medical services, team members and volunteers from Canada head to the island city of Nanaimo to host a free clinic. Taiwan Tzu Chi University's Chinese medicine director has also joined this event. At the stationary free clinic, there aren't many patients, thus the doctor can spend time to get to know the patient's ailments and give them detailed treatments. This lady in red's hand shakes from excessive drinking, thus Dr. Shi suggests she drinks a bit less and does acupuncture on her. Meanwhile, nurses from the community brought Dr. Gao and Tzu Chi volunteers to visit those who cannot get to the free clinic.
Mel, do you remember us?
Hello, Mel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi. We told you we'd be back.
Yeah.
Mel and Kathy are both sick. Dr. Gao treats Kathy's stroke symptoms with acupuncture and made sure to give them plenty of blessings before they left.
Take care, Kathy.
Thank you, my dear. You're a good person. Thank you. Thank you.
This other patient, Heather, has been feeling unwell since her mother's passing. Prescription pills have not helped. Thus, the Chinese medicine doctor hopes to give her some holistic healing.
Are you okay? And just like this. Your whole body.
My whole body?
Yes.
Oh, that's similar to the way we brush
And then
off.
smell it.
Oh, that's nice.
这个是那个色彩疗法，
Oh, you mix the
能量的一个清理。
In this affluent Western country, there are still many First Nations citizens living here who recognize the benefits of holistic healing. Thus, the director of TCU's Traditional Chinese Medicine Department no longer worries about sending the students overseas to gain more clinical experience.
Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters joined hands with Care Harbor, Los Angeles, and held a 3-day large-scale clinic at the Reef Exposition Hall in Los Angeles this year. At the occasion, TCM service was provided. Tzu Chi also set up a floral arrangements area and other health education promotions for patients to try, while waiting for their turn to see a doctor.
Here at the Care Harbor Clinic in Los Angeles, there are at least 800 patients a day looking to see a doctor. After completing the consultation information, the patients wait for their turn. To help the patients pass the time, Tzu Chi volunteers set up a floor arrangement area, hoping their mood can be as cheerful as a sunflower. Martha Oropeza appeals to those who speak Spanish to do a good deed.
When she attended the free clinic last year, she did flower arrangement in our booth. Afterwards, she adopted a bamboo coin bank. This year, she brought it back filled with the coins. I'm warmed by her actions.
At another waiting area, volunteers introduced the concept of healthy eating by asking patients to pile on the items they eat on a daily basis to see how healthy their eating is. This is the 3-day large-scale free clinic hosted by Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters in Care Harbor, Los Angeles, where traditional Chinese medicine is provided to solve the patient's pain. Many leave with smiles on their faces.
I was in so much pain last night, I didn't get enough sleep because of the pain. So what they did was they massaged me first to relax me, and they let me relax. Then when they did the acupuncture.
After I got up and after a couple of stretches, all my pain that I had for the last 4 months was gone.
I already got the puncture, so I don't need no more. There you go.
While the medical team treats the patient's physical problems, volunteers treat the patient's emotional problems. With these two healing processes, Tzu Chi and Care Harbor safeguard the patient's health for as long as they can.
The weather in the United States is turning cold as winter has arrived. Tzu Chi volunteers from Portland and Seattle have prepared winter clothing and necessities to be given to the homeless people. Among the volunteers, some of them used to be homeless, but now they were there to help other less fortunate people.
Gloves, bubble hats, and coats were prepared by volunteers for the cold weather. Zelda, one of the volunteers, once received this help before.
I come here to help because one time I was homeless and now I am not homeless, and thank you for Tzu Chi for helping me to go to school.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Seattle give out hot meals once a month to bring warmth to homeless people. In Portland, Tzu Chi volunteers place the clothes they have brought throughout the year and also help the homeless people find what they need and like.
No, I got one.
already. Thank you for the coat and the sleeping bag and the coffee cups and me.
I wanted that.
That's awesome.
You guys have access to resources that I don't, and the community really appreciates it. I've been getting a lot of positive feedback, and I really appreciate everything that you guys have done today.
This is the 10th year for Tzu Chi's winter distributions to homeless people, and acts of great love will continue.
In August this year, Typhoon Hato struck Hong Kong and brought great damage to Lei Yu Mun in Kwun Tong area. Since the amounts of the debris and trash was too large, a local councillor asked Tzu Chi for assistance. Recently, more than 100 volunteers mobilized to help 2 villages in this area clean up the environment. It has been 3 months after Typhoon Hato swept through Hong Kong. Local Tzu Chi volunteers once again head to Lei Yu Mun in Kwun Tong area to carry out their mission.
After the super typhoon, we can see many branches, damaged trees, and trash everywhere. Because the amount is too large, the government is unable to clean it up in a short time. So we are grateful to you for helping us clean the community.
Lei Yu Mun is located east of Victoria Harbour. When Typhoon Hato struck this area, it was severely affected by the rising tide. Mr. John's home was also damaged by a strong storm. On this day, he could finally receive help from others.
I've lived here for 27 years since I moved here in 1990. I've never experienced such a devastating typhoon like Hato. I can help with the cleanup work here.
Almost all of the alleys in this village are narrow, which can only accommodate 1 person to pass through. Volunteers work together to clear out debris, and they even clean up hillside to pick up trash.
I saw a lot of trash, including styrofoam and plastic bottles. Even the weeds could not grow amongst the plastic foam. I realized it is very important to protect planet Earth.
After a while, the volunteers pick up about 1,000 plastic bottles and they relay to bring them down the mountains.
I can see that every volunteer works diligently and they give of themselves with sincerity. They also enjoy serving others. We feel very happy coming here to volunteer.
I think it is more important to promote environmental protection beforehand than to clean the trash afterwards. This helps reduce waste and trash. The consequence of this action is better than when we mobilize many people to pick up the trash.
Although it was drizzling at the end of the village cleanup activity, volunteers braved the rain to move out the resources and trash they had cleared out to restore the village to its former look. In the Philippines' Cavite province, Dreamland Village was among the regions devastated by a severe storm in 2007. Back then, Tzu Chi volunteers went forth to distribute aid items to the impacted residents. When seeing the poor educational condition of the children, they handed out many scholarships to aid their studies. To this day, many of the scholarship recipients have grown and completed their education. Next, let's meet David Belorte Jr., who is now a teacher thanks to Tzu Chi's help.
David Baluarte Jr.'s completion of his education is not only his father's pride and joy, but also a way for the family to gain some financial support.
In the past, I saw how much passion my son had for his education. Now he's finally fulfilled his dream of completing college and becoming a high school teacher. He's become the main financial support for the family. It's been a great help to us.
Motivating his whole family to donate what little they can, David's heart is full of Tzu Chi spirits. Each morning, he dresses accordingly and thanks his parents for giving him life.
I can say honestly that I've learned from Tzu Chi volunteers how to give selflessly. This is an important educational value, as I am a teacher and I hope to inspire and shape my students.
The former Tzu Chi scholarship recipient is now a teacher, and his biggest goal is for his students to have upstanding moral character.
Taiwan, Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital has helped more than 200 varix patients with the newest minimally invasive endoscopy. With these new treatments, the patients will have small incisions and shorter recovery period. Let's learn more.
67-year-old Li Renqi was diagnosed with varix when he was in high school. As he aged, the swelling extended to his right thigh and groin, and he felt stiff.
On cold days when I took showers, my foot stiffened and I needed people's support.
The main cause of varix is standing or sitting for long periods of time. Shi Peiyu, who has worked at a department store for more than 30 years, had trouble sleeping when the condition was serious.
My ankle became swollen so badly that I needed to wear a size 30 shoe on one foot. The two feet became of different sizes.
The plastic surgery department of Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital has come up with minimally invasive endoscopy for calves. The incision is small with 15-minute surgery time and short recovery period.
Right after the surgery, the wound feels painful. On the third day, I pretty much recovered and I even went out using bandages.
The doctor also reminds people that if one's blood vessels swell and turn red, it could be signs of venous thrombus.
We have to be careful not to massage the area as the blood clot could run to the heart or lung, leading to pulmonary embolism. Therefore, immediate treatment is necessary.
The hospital has helped more than 200 patients undergo minimally invasive endoscopy, improving their life qualities.
Also in Taiwan, one of Tzu Chi's care recipients in the Chongguan community in Hualien is a solitary man, Liu Mingjun. He was unable to clean his home due to mobility problems. After visiting him and interacting with him several times, volunteers finally received permission to help him clean the environment. The environment is full of clutter inside and outside the house. If one moves furniture, he or she can see many small creatures running around, which looks like a zoo. But actually, this is Mr. Liu's home because he has mobility problems and lives alone. He lives in a very poor environment. With the suggestion of Tzu Chi volunteers, he finally allowed volunteers to clean his home.
Because he experienced many setbacks, he seems to live an isolated life. I feel very happy that he finally agreed to allow Tzu Chi volunteers to come here and help him clean.
This time, more than 20 young and old volunteers mobilized to help with the cleanup. Everyone joins hands to clear out the furniture and paint the walls. After volunteers move in to cleanse the furniture and a new bed, the sunlight also pours in Mr. Liu's home once again, filling the house with love and warmth. Sending blessings with the song, volunteers hope that Mr. Liu can live happily in his home and embrace a bright future. Ahmed Didi Wijaja is a Tzu Chi care recipient who comes from Tangerang, Indonesia. After he became paralyzed in a traffic accident, he lost the ability to work. Fortunately, Tzu Chi not only provided him with financial support and medical expenses, but also built a bed for him, hoping he looks on the bright side of life. After a traffic accident in 1996, Ahmed Didi Wijaja became paralyzed and can only stay in bed every day. He lives in a room in his friend's home as this small world has become his life.
Saya kira
I think his health condition is good. Most importantly, I hope that he can uphold his positive thinking. This way, he will live a happier life.
In 2005, Didi became a Tzu Chi care recipient. The living subsidy and medical expenses provided by Tzu Chi helps reduce his financial burden. After discovering that his bed is old and damaged, volunteers build a bed for him.
It's not as simple as we have imagined. Since Didi can only stay in bed doing everything, like using the toilet, we have to build a bed that is convenient for him to use the toilet. We have also changed the height of the new bed.
The people I want to thank the most are Tzu Chi volunteers. They spare some time to visit me every month. They all come to help me wherever I need help.
With the volunteers' love and care, Didi can now live a more spiritual and colorful life. In Taiwan, New Taipei City's Yonghe district has no official recycling station due to the crowded nature of the area. In the end, one volunteer opened up his own storefront to source recycling. And for the past decade, recycling volunteers have kept up sorting recyclables day in and day out.
It's not the typical recycling day, but the truck driver still makes the rounds to collect whatever is available. As Yonghe district of New Taipei City is much crowded, Tzu Chi volunteers have yet to find a suitable permanent point to establish a recycling station. Thus, a kind-hearted volunteer offered up his own storefront to serve as a temporary recycling point. For the past decade, volunteers have been sorting recyclables here on a daily basis, no matter rain or shine.
When we are here sorting recyclables, the community can also gain the same sense of environmental protection. Recycling volunteers can also participate in other Tzu Chi activities, not just here.
While in New Taipei City's Shanchong, Xu Shushu, who suffers from cerebral palsy, has found her own self-worth through her recycling efforts.
She uses her toes to grab the plastic to rip it open. She sorts recyclables alongside the other volunteers, and although her actions may be slower because she's using her feet to do so, her will is the same.
Then in Luzhou, Zhen Zhuangle spent 8 years sobering up and quitting smoking. Friction in his family has also been improved. The decision to give up his former self was easy after he saw the situation.
One time I saw someone bring down items for recycling that was filled with bugs and filth. I wondered how the recycling volunteers could endure such smells and mess and still keep a smile on their face. It was then I realized that one must be tolerant above all else.
Learning life lessons when doing recycling is also this volunteer.
When I was younger, I was just concerned about earning money. But now that I'm old, I still don't have much money saved. Doing recycling is something that I can gain for myself.
At the annual Recycling Volunteer Certification Ceremony, many of the elderly bodhisattvas may only recognize their own name on the certification, but they use all of their smarts into environmental conservation.
In China, at Daai Technology's Chengdu grounds, the volunteers have planted toxin-free rice in the empty ground behind the structures. Once the rice is harvested, it will be added to red envelopes of blessing and wisdom and later be distributed in 7 provinces in one city. For many of the participating volunteers, the rice plantation process was also a practice of self-cultivation. Let's take a look.
At Daai Technology's Chengdu grounds, the volunteers have planted rice in the empty ground using environmentally friendly production methods. On bright and beautiful spring days, the volunteers work diligently to plant the rice.
As farmers, we need to pull out the grass as well as get rid of the frivolous thoughts in our minds. Isn't that right?
It really is not that easy for us to pick out all the stones. Besides the stones on the surface, there are also stones deep down the ground. It makes me think about our ignorance. As we get rid of our worries, we're in fact cultivating ourselves.
Now that our Tzu Chi families has given us this field of blessings to cultivate and insist that we do not use fertilizers or pesticides, as a Tzu Chi volunteer, I must persevere and do my job.
After leveling the ground and planting the rice, the volunteers have harvested 75 kilograms of rice.
I cannot be the only Bodhi seed. We need to mindfully spread the seeds so that in Gansu, more seeds of love will sprout.
I hope that through making red envelopes of blessing and wisdom, we can share our blessings with the general public in Guizhou.
The rice has been delivered to the volunteers in China's 7 provinces and 1 city to be added to red envelopes of blessing and wisdom.
A young couple who lives in Taichung, Taiwan, used to be kindergarten teachers. However, they decided to switch their job to run the recycling processing plant as a way to try more challenging work and promote environmental protection. Although recycling work is more laborious than their work before, they always feel happy to do this work because they have not only helped underprivileged people, but also inspired more people in their community to practice recycling. Driving the recycling truck and operating the trash grapple bucket, 38-year-old Hong Zhenqun, who feels happy doing this challenging work.
For one thing, we're doing a right thing, which is a good deed and a good industry. For another, we can help more people in the community.
Originally, Hong and his wife were kindergarten teachers who had a stable income. 5 years ago, this couple switched their job to join the recycling industry. For one thing, Hong wants to challenge himself. For another, it allows him to express his compassion for the environment and other people.
We really need to cherish resources. In fact, many items can be recycled and reused. We have to make good use of everything.
Seniors who often bring recyclables to this recycling station give a thumbs up to Mr. Hong. Sometimes when Hong knows that the residents have difficulties in their home, he may buy recyclables from them with a better price. On important holidays, he also hosts a gratitude event, making the recycling station a happy and peaceful atmosphere.
No matter how young the children are, we should respect them, just like the way we respect adults. No matter how old the seniors are, we should take care of them, just like the way we look after children.
While some people think it's easy to make money by running a recycling station, but processing recyclables may be tiring work. For Hong Zhenqun, promoting environmental protection is his important mission. Students from Tzu Chi Kindergarten in Malacca, Malaysia, gave a sutra adaptation performance at the graduation ceremony. From watching the sign language songs, the parents also reflected on the nature and purposes of education. We will leave you with these images. See you next week.